Well, good to be with you today. I'm speaking to you from north central Mexico, Guanajuato, where we have a regenerative research farm and conference center, training center, where we're trying to find the best practices of organic and regenerative agriculture, not only in the US and Canada, but in Mexico and points south. So, supposed to talk today about food farming and health, how we can regenerate our food farming and health. So first of all, I was just wanted to talk a little bit about the term regeneration, which is becoming popular in the organic and natural health industry. It's said to be the hottest new topic out there. So what is regeneration? The traditional term is it comes from the philosophical or theological tradition where you can regenerate your soul, you can be reborn again, you can become better, you can overcome obstacles. In terms of organics, the term started being used in just a little bit in the 1980s. The Rodale Institute, a well-known research center for organics in Pennsylvania, one of the founders of that used the terminology. Then a group of us formed a Regeneration International movement in 2014 at the big climate march in New York City. So what do we mean by regenerative food, farming, and land use? And then I'll get into what do we mean by regenerating our health and the health of the planet. So most people are familiar with organic food and farming. Basically, most food and farming for 10,000 years were organic in the sense that we didn't use toxic chemicals or artificial fertilizers. We didn't have genetically engineered seeds. We didn't irradiate food. We didn't take the sewage sludge from our cities and spread it on farmland. All these high-tech things that are being done to our food and that are being employed in farming started mainly around the Second World War. And a group of people thought it was a good idea to use some of the technologies that had been developed in the First World War and Second World War and apply it to agriculture. They used some of the chemicals that they had used for chemical and biological warfare. They used the nitrates they'd used in making explosives, and they came up with the modern era of pesticides and chemical fertilizers. And the farming system started to change, especially in Western Europe and the United States. And I think looking back, this was a disaster. This chemical intensive, energy intensive agriculture experiment has turned out to be a horrible situation. So organics, which most people have been, my grandparents were organic farmers in East Texas, and they didn't use the word organic, but they farmed and raised their animals the way they had been taught by their parents and their grandparents in Southwest Louisiana. And so most farmers were basically organic until the Second World War. But the modern organic movement started, over the last century to incorporate traditional natural farming and have some rules and regulations and some practices that could be codified and so on. And so we had regenerative agriculture going in the US. A lot of us in the late 60s moved back to the land or or we started farming food buying clubs and food co-ops in the cities. We started reading books about nutrition, and a lot of us became vegetarians or experimented with being vegetarians, and a movement developed around organic food and farming. More and more co-ops were established. Then you had the first actual supermarket style natural food stores developing.